The GL integration icon determines how order entry is to integrate with General Ledger. As discussed earlier, order entry generates General Ledger transactions and integrates with General Ledger either directly or through accounts receivable. This icon determines the integration of transactions directly. The first decision is to determine when transaction batches within the General Ledger are to be created. The options that appear here depend on when item costs are recorded within inventory control. The During Posting option transfers the transactions to General Ledger when shipments and invoices or credit or debit notes are posted in order entry. If During Day-End Processing is selected as the costing option within inventory control, a During Day-End Processing choice appears instead of During Posting. Selecting this option, the system saves the General Ledger transactions in a temporary file until the day-end processing function is performed in inventory control. Where selecting On Request using Create GL Batch icon saves the General Ledger transactions in a temporary file until the Create GL Batch icon is performed, found within order entry. The day-end processing or the Create GL Batch icon can be performed as often as necessary. After determining when the General Ledger transactions are to be created, the next decision is to determine how they are created. The first option is to append the transactions to an existing, unposted order entry batch within General Ledger. The second option is to have order entry place the transactions within a new General Ledger batch, but keep the batch unposted. And the third choice is to have order entry place the transactions within a new General Ledger batch and also immediately post the batch in General Ledger at the same time. The options selected in these first two fields can impact the speed of order entry. For example, if you select During Posting in the Create GL Transactions field and Create and Posting a new batch in the Create GL Transactions By field, when you enter and post an invoice, the system not only posts the invoice information within order entry, but creates and posts a journal entry within General Ledger, causing Accpac to act like a real-time accounting system. Keep in mind, however, that this process occurs for every invoice that is posted. Therefore, the number of General Ledger batches that gets created at the end of each day reflect the number of invoice documents posted. If order entry is heavily used, it may be a better decision not to have Accpac immediately post transactions within General Ledger. The last field on the integration page determines how transactions are consolidated, if at all, before they get submitted to General Ledger. Normally, most companies do not consolidate transactions because this can reduce the amount of detail that reaches General Ledger, causing the inability to drill down into a specific transaction, as well as possibly causing internal audits to resort to printed reports. However, if the decision is made to consolidate, then transactions containing the same General Ledger account can be summarized together. They can be summarized based on the same fiscal period, or summarized by the same source code. The Transactions page is where selected order entry fields are sent to the General Ledger description and reference fields. One or more fields can be sent either to the General Ledger Transaction Journal Header and/or Detail fields. For each transaction type, select which fields to send. To make your selection, double-click the row containing the type of inventory transaction, such as receipts. The system displays the fields that can be assigned. In this case, the description field has been selected. Notice, however, that multiple fields can be selected. When multiple fields are selected, the system transfers the entire text entered in the field selected first, and then, if there is room, the text in the next field until the target field is full.
After determining your order entry options and General Ledger integration, you can begin setting up the other codes that order entry uses when you enter orders. Before getting into the product, let's discuss some of the highlights.